I'm Insane, and I saw Star Trek the original series, The Omega Glory. It is directed by Vincent McEveety, written by Gene Roddenberry. And if you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you, and there's so many freaking bugs out here. Don't you just love the summer? Speaking of heat, the USS Enterprise encounters a planet. Specifically, there is this ship from the Federation that's orbiting this planet, and there's just a bunch of crystals with a ton, and I mean a ton of clothes just laying there. And we got, Kirk's like, what's happening here? I'm also like, what's happening here? So he goes down to the planet's surface. Only a few people. Luckily though, you know what's great? He sees the captain of the ship. He was the only one that survived. And he's like, well, okay, I'm glad that you are here. I'm sorry to say that you have to suffer this fate, but you can no longer go up to your ship because there's this disease, a virus, you'll say, that if you go back up there, then you're just going to infect the entire ship and die. But on this planet, there's this immunity thing happening, and I'm just seeing this and I'm like, wait, why? What's the immunity thing? Is it like in the atmosphere that they're able to be immune to this disease, but once they leave, then, oh, they got the virus. It's not gonna, whatever is in the atmosphere or on the planet's surface there is not going to be protecting them from this virus. And it makes me wonder what this thing could be. But this episode isn't necessarily interested in finding out what that could be like I am interested. Instead, Kirk is interested in the guy breaking the Prime Directive, which is to not interfere with this culture, and this guy has interfered with the culture. I see that this guy is like, I had no choice. I was going to die. My crew died, my pals died, I'm just alive. Lucky I'm alive. Unfortunate that they're dead. What's wrong with influencing a culture? You? And then Kirk's like, a lot of things are actually bad about this. I agree with Kirk here. Interesting culture. We got these guys who look like Kirk and this other guy, right? They have a lighter skin complexion. And they're savages on this planet. They are cavemen-like, very prone to violence. The only thing they know how to do is go attack. And basically, if you have somebody just there in the world, they'll just attack them, just for the fun of it. And this is the problem. And also the peaceful people, they're like darker in complexion. And so when you got the guy, the Federation guy is coming in the middle, out of nowhere, and he's just like, I'm here to help. They didn't really have any choice but to trust him, but they were very wary, and I like this added detail. It also explains why the rest of the people are very wary of Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. I get it. But then, I'm not sure why, but now Kirk has to go in the cell. Well, I do know why. I don't know why, though, okay? So here's what happens. He's like, oh, well, why can't you just talk to them? He's like, the freaking general guy. It's like, hey, well, how about you try spending a cell with them for one night? And they just locked Kirk in there, and then Spock's locked in there too. And like, did they commit high treason or something? Oh no, it's because this guy wanted to lock up Kirk and Spock to prevent them from talking to the Federation, I guess. I mean, if this guy knows anything about Kirk, he should know that Kirk will not allow this to happen. Kirk is really fighting that guy. Like, there's a guy and a chick of the feral breed, and they go at Kirk all night. But what's interesting is that there's this twisty twist of this, there's like this little bars, and you got the little window thing, classic jail trope. And twist the bars, the little Spock figured out, and this guy has like super strength. He just like rips the bars out, and And it's like, oh, maybe Kirk and him will have a bonding moment, but no, he just immediately knocks him out, and Kirk is down. Kirk also finds out that the tribes, the groups, they're named after Earth concepts. Like, you got the Yanks are based off of the Yankees, and geez, that's a big boy. Are these like lightning bugs? Or they're big moths? Anyway, so you got the Yankees, and then I think they're called the Cons. They're based off communists. The way that Kirk gets there is really grasping for straws for me, honestly. I had to hold my suspense of disbelief for this one, because there's just a lot of leaps and bounds made in this episode in order to get Kirk to be like, oh, this guy, you clearly have gone insane. And this guy's like, well, look, we got a perfect culture here. You know, we're taking care of the savages. And I feel like since they've already interacted with the culture, what is Kirk going to do? Is he just going to leave them alone with the new advanced culture? Is he going to revert them back? There's no way to revert them back, or like maybe teach them a little bit. I'm not sure what Kirk could do in this. And then this episode gets really confusing because now he's like, well, actually, Spock, you're the devil. Spock's the devil. Uh-oh, we should get him. And then instead of going after Spock, they go after him and like get him. This episode is so hard to follow towards the end of it. It makes me wonder what was happening when this episode was written. Gene Roddenberry, I know you're dead. Who am I talking to if you're dead? Anyway, why did he do this? Does anyone know? Please let me know in the comments below. I am so perplexed by this episode. It starts off interesting, like this guy breaks the Prime Directive. And then I feel like at some point he goes insane for some reason. And at some point, Kirk realizes, oh, actually, we could have just gone back up the entire time because the going back up to the ship only is a problem if you go back up the ship too fast. Like if you only are down in the planet's surface for 5 minutes, you don't have whatever immunity the planet gives you to the virus the planet also gives you. This episode is weird. I don't know. I don't like this episode that much. And also this episode ends and they're like, cool, I guess I'll just leave. And they do. Whatever. This is a hard one to even remember. I watched this in like awe because I was looking at the screen just like, okay, I'm kind of getting what's going on here. About halfway through the episode, I'm like, okay, this is making sense. And then like the last 10 minutes, I'm like, what is going on? What's up with saying Spock is the devil? Come on, man, that's just rude. I wouldn't do that to his face. Come on. He's right there. He has feelings. He might be Vulcan, but he has feelings, okay? Anyway, this episode is a doozy. Let me know what you think of the episode in the comments below. I'm gonna have to give it a solid, oh god. It's not that good, but it's, you know, not terrible. It's kind of Star Trek's mid, actually. So, it's a solid 6.5 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one the platform really likes. And if you want to fast track a movie review, you can do that for $20 Dinos at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you like tell us for the daily grind of all them daily movies, go to this link tree, find the way you can absolve the daily grind of all them daily movies so you can get here. And until next time, mint salad sauce. See you later, my sour croutons and bacon bits. Boop. Beam me up.